I'm just like in that division, just trying to climb the ranks, and whoever's in front of me, whoever they put in front of me, I believe, I go in there and get my job done.
Well, hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I'm Abs of October Red, and I'm very happy to be joined by the smiling, the ever happy Francesca Hennessy. Welcome back. It feels like I haven't spoke to you in a very long time.
Do you know what? I was just about to say that. It does actually feel like it's been a while, doesn't it? But no, I'm really, really happy to be back, and thanks for having me on.
Listen, always a pleasure. I saw that yesterday you had like a workout media day, getting ready for your next fight. But you know what I'm like? I like to go back to the fight before because that was the last time I spoke to you. So talk to us about that. That was you was in Birmingham, that not Derby. Derby.
So my last one was actually in London, I think. Yeah, my last one was in London. Yeah, so
Back to that one.
yeah, I was at Derby, the one before that. It was
Yeah.
all quite a
So that's
quick
how long I
turnaround.
haven't spoke to you.
Yeah, yeah. So it was Derby, then London. But yeah, no, Derby performance, I was really happy with. Was in great shape. Started working with a nutritionist. I think that was what we was actually speaking about, wasn't it? Last time. But yeah, so felt great for that one. Was very happy with my performance. And then London one when I got pushed a headline at the Copper Box. That was a great fight. I showed that I can swim in deep water and win in deep water, and I'm happy I got to show that side. But yeah, I've learned a lot from it, and I'm very excited to show what I've learned for this next fight.
But that's the thing. The fights are supposed to be learning for you guys. Quite luckily, you've had W's. I will say that from experience over the past, 6 years of speaking to fighters, I say that they seem to learn the most when they don't get their hands raised.
Yes,
Um, but when you talk about learning from the last fight and almost like a point to prove, you're saying, I've showed people that I can go into deep waters.
yeah.
What makes you feel like you kind of had something to prove in that fight, Fran?
Do you know what? I feel like a lot of people obviously didn't know whether I had that in me because I haven't had to really show that in my career. I probably should have stuck to the game plan to what, Brad and my team set out for me in that fight. But I think sometimes the fighter in us just wants to come out, right, and to show that we can sit there and go into deep water. So I am happy I got to show that side of me, and but obviously there's always things to work on and improve on, and that's the beauty of it. I've taken a step back from my last fight, and there was so much to take from it, so much to learn from it, and I've learned more from that fight than any of my fights, which is a blessing. So I'm very, very happy with where I'm at, what I've learned, what we've been working on, and yeah, it's put me in good stead going forward.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say is one of the key things that you learned from your last fight compared to like fights before when you said you've learned a lot? Obviously, we've covered the deep waters, but what is one thing that kind of resonates with you the most that you thought, okay, I know I've got to work on this now?
Do you know what? I feel like it was just taking just take everything in my stride a bit more instead of like I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself from the whole week. When I got lifted to being a headline and things last minute, I feel like I've never experienced that before. So it was a first time thing for me. But I put a lot of pressure on myself, I think, and a bit too much, which kind of took the enjoyment out of it in the week. So I wish I just, went in and enjoyed the whole process of the week and stuff instead of, putting a lot of pressure on myself. But I feel more experienced now in the sense of I know what feelings I'm gonna have, and I've experienced being a headliner and doing things like that now, and I'm blessed to have done that now. And I feel like now when I go into fights, I'll be a lot more relaxed, a lot more calm, take it a lot more in my stride. I feel a bit more mature. It's weird. It's a bit weird. I think a lot of people forget as well. I'm only 20, 21 years old. So, yeah, I feel like I've matured and I've taken a lot of experience from the whole thing, the fight, the build up, everything. I've taken a lot away from it.
It's so interesting that you say that because, like, as a boxing fan, us sitting on the outside, just think okay, you're on a card. It doesn't matter if you're the first one on or the last one. We do what I'll say, admittedly, I thought that wouldn't affect a fighter being
Yeah,
moved up to the headline at the last minute. It's sort of like now I'm the star of the show, and you well, you don't take into consideration the pressure that could be on a fighter
yeah.
for the first time doing it, and it's like, yeah, you're it. Everyone, you're the last one on. And I think that's something that maybe we take for granted as boxing fans, the observers.
Yeah, do you know what? Even me, like, I didn't realize how much more you had to kind of do as well. Like, you've got so many more things you have to do on the week, and yeah, just a lot more you have to do, and like, yeah, you're the headline, aren't you? So it's one of those, and it was obviously on the week of the fight, but I was very grateful that, you know, they kept the show on, and I was able to be the headline. I was very grateful for that because it could have been quite easy to just say, "Oh, take the show away," you know. So. And I think it's probably the best way to me for me to experience being a headliner, you know, in my career at a first. So, and I do believe I'm made for those stages. I'm made for that, and I'm very grateful that I've experienced that. But I just know now, because I've got that experience, when I do eventually headline again, I'm gonna know what to expect and know what to feel, and I'm gonna be raring to go for it, you know. So yeah, it was something I really, really enjoyed, and I did enjoy it, but I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself, whereas I should have just known what I can do and, enjoyed that. So
The female division, once again, is starting to light up. We had really good performances a couple of weeks ago as well from Shannon Ryan that stopped Nicola Hopewell. Then we also had TMA, like Matchroom's rising star, stop, Stevie Levy. When you look at that and you see, the females that are pushing through in the division, are part MVP to one side at the moment because obviously they're dominant with the females. But when you see what the, Matchroom and obviously Boxer are doing for the females in the industry, still taking them on, still putting you guys out. How does that look when you're looking at that horizon for them fighters? And I say this because, with the women, you guys fluctuate up and down in weight.
yeah,
I cannot pin myself on saying, oh no, I think this fight's at 53 kg, the one that you've got. So it's bantam,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, yeah. I've been, yeah, bantam.
But I know that you can fluctuate. So when you look at the likes of Shannon, you look at the likes of Tia, how do you see, yourself when it comes to like ranking the positions where you're in?
Oh, I just I'm very happy with how female boxing's going. It's flying, as you said, some great performances across the board all over the weekend. So yeah, I'm very happy with how female boxing's going at the moment. I'm a bantamweight, and so I'm just like in that division, just trying to climb the ranks, and whoever's in front of me, whoever they put in front of me, I believe, I go in there and get my job done. But yeah, so I'm grateful for how female boxing's going, how it's rising. There's so many as well, even up and coming amateur girls who are great talents, great fighters, and I just feel like over the years it's gonna keep climbing the ranks and everything. So yeah, I'm really happy to see how female boxing's growing and everything.
Do you see yourself as like that type of competitive? I know you're not one for trash talking. You're always very polite and respectful, and nobody really needs to do trash talking if that's not their personality. But when you think about, you've got Shanika, I think she's got what? How many belts has Shanika got at bantam?
She's the undisputed at
Yeah.
bantam.
So when you look at that and you think, okay, I want to conquer that weight, you're still very young. You're
Yeah.
still only a few fights in. The pool is obviously more shallow because it's female boxing. But when you see that like competitive side and you want to have what, say, Shanika's got as the champion of your division, competitiveness that's in you, do you look at her and think, I want some of that. I want what she's got.
Yeah, absolutely. My goal is to be the youngest undisputed world champion. That's what I set out to be since a young age. I've said that since I turned pro, and she's got all the belts. And my last fight actually made me mandatory for the WBC world title. So I'm actually in line for that. I know she's got another fight lined up, Shanika, at the moment. So I'm just kind of waiting my shot, waiting my turn. But absolutely. I feel like any fighter who's in boxing, they should be looking at the world champion and thinking, yeah, I want a slice like that, a slice of that. So, and it's not a disrespectful thing. It's just a thing of like, I want to be the best and I want to show I'm the best. So that's just it, really. So yeah, I am absolutely competitive. I feel like in boxing you have to be, don't you? Like it's one of them things.
And the thing about it was with you, because you're like this, I'd like to call it a smiling assassin. Because you are, like I said, you've got this facade. I'm not saying that you're not a nice person, by the way, but I'm saying you still got those aspirations. You still want that. It doesn't matter if you know really polite, smiling all the time. It doesn't mean that you don't want to take someone's head off to get what
Absolutely.
they want. Because sometimes we think, oh, she's so nice. Should she be doing this? You know, things are brought into question, especially like women, because we're under the microscope. You can't even
Yeah,
put a toe in the wrong direction without someone coming for you. So it's like, what's the hunger like for Fran? What does
yeah,
she want? Because we have smiling assassins everywhere, but
yeah.
you actually look like you're genuinely a nice person. I think a lot of
Thank
people
you.
fake being nice, and you
Oh,
can see there's like a nasty undertone to them, and they're probably not the nicest of people. But with you, it seems so genuine. It has done from the beginning, Fran.
oh, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. I try my best to be a good person. I can only thank my parents, for that. But yeah, no, I do. I genuinely like, outside the ring. Obviously, I want to be a good person. I want to, you know, do want to achieve things outside the ring in that sense as well. Like, be known for how I am, not just as a fighter, but as a person. But yeah, when I'm in that ring, it's like a switch because at the end of the day, they're coming to take what I've got and I'm coming to take what they've got. And I feel like you can't have that nice person kind of thing when you're in the ring. It just doesn't work. Those two don't go hand in hand. So you've got to definitely have that switch, but it's just I want to be the best and I know I can be. And so that's like when I look at, Shanika, she's got all the belts. Obviously, I am looking, thinking, I want those belts. So that's just it, really. So, yeah, I have got that competitiveness in me, that spite in me when I'm in the ring. But outside of it, we're all here trying to do the same thing. So I respect anyone who gets in the ring, but it's my job.
When do you switch? When does it go from, the Fran that we know, what you show us, to the like that really determined focus? When do you switch off? Because you've got to remember, when I'm watching you, you're walking out, smiling, dancing to the. So when is that switch? When does it say, all right, go time? Now I don't like you. Now I don't respect you. And now I'm gonna, win this fight.
I literally, so obviously on fight week, you've got that switch at different times where you're like, yeah, but I think it's kind of a mixture of when I'm dancing to the ring and I'm smiling to the ring. It's like I just love to be there. I love to be doing this. I'm blessed to do what I do, to be able to be on the stages I'm on. I'm so grateful for that. But as soon as I'm in that ring and I see my opponent across the ring from me, I'm like, right, now it's go time. Let's go. It's one of those. It's they're stood in front of you. They're coming to do what they want to do, and I'm in there to prove what I can do. So it's just that switch has to switch on as soon as you step through them ropes. But yeah, I think the smiling thing and the ring walks is just because I feel blessed to be doing what I'm doing. I enjoy my job. I love it. So I like to show you that when I do my ring walks and stuff.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see, because it's like that almost adrenaline, knowing that, all right, you're going into a fight, so there's going to be an adrenaline anyway. But it's like this person either wants your spot, wants what you've got, and there's that little bit of not necessarily fear as such, but it's like I can't let it go their way. And
Yeah,
it's like containing all of that emotion, because we're humans, we have emotion, but like remaining, I think Peter Fury called it ice cold, where it's just like you almost turn into like a robot, as it were.
yeah.
Emotions just get parked. Yeah, stay over there. And it's time to focus on the job at hand.
Definitely, I think it's just like one of those things. You can't let your emotions get too much. I've had Peter Fury in a few of my changing rooms before the fight, just saying to me, just relax, relax, breathe. And he's been around the game for so long, so every word he tells me, I take it all on board. So Yeah, he's very definitely. It's great to have him round, and that's kind of what he just says to me because he knows I'm young and in the game and stuff, and he just says to me, just relax and know what you can do. And I think it's very important to obviously have that switch, have that right game time, but also be relaxed about it and not let your emotions get the better of you, kind of thing. So that's a balance that I've definitely learned to have now, and I'm grateful for that, just with the experiences I've had and the fights I've had now.
Well, let's talk about your opponent then. It's your time coming. Not the headline this time, but
No,
it doesn't matter.
yeah,
You've done that bit. You've
yeah,
still
yeah.
got a task. Is this for, excuse my ignorance, is this for an interim or is it for the actual WBC? What is it?
Oh no, it's the WBC silver. So
Silver,
I'm just.
apologies. Yeah.
Oh, don't miss it. It's all right. It's literally just so the belt I won in my last fight. I'm defending that against this girl. She's Aurora, I believe her name. I can't pronounce her last name. Sorry, but yeah, Aurora. A very uh she's aggressive. She comes forward. Her only loss on her record. She's avenged that. She ended up stopping the girl and they fought again. So she's a very good fighter. She's gonna come try to take my head off probably. But yeah, I'll definitely be ready for that.
The way you just, yeah, she's going to try and take my head off and start laughing. This is what I'm saying. Boxers have like, I don't know, there's like this magic in them that doesn't exist in anybody else where they can have that humor or I don't know. It's just weird that you can just like, yeah, yeah, she's going to try and take my head off, and that's hilarious to you. You know what I mean? But a durable opponent, somebody that you're potentially going to learn from again. What are
Yeah,
you, when you talk about getting that experience in the fights, when somebody tries to sit on your chest and they're continuously trying to come forward, like he says, come forward, aggressive, etc. I know you've got the likes of Sky Nicholson that's with you, and she's very good defensively. She's
definitely.
able to practically, at her best, keep people off her chest.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you deal with that when it's that kind of educated pressure coming from that fighter? And you got to be able to navigate, move around that, and not take too much punishment.
Yeah, it's I think it all comes with time and ring craft and things like that. And it's great to be in around Sky. I'm very close to Sky. She's obviously been at the top level of everything. She's got all the experience. She's a great fighter, so it's great to just be in and around her. She's fought at the top level, so she knows exactly what I'm experiencing, and she'll give me advice on that and things. So it's great to have her around. But yeah, on the like if someone's pressing me now, like, I've experienced that having like a dogfight type of thing. I've been there, I've had it. So yeah, I'm like now it's just I know I can sit in the pocket if I want to. I know I can. But it's also not doing it if you don't have to kind of thing. But I think I've got that bit between my teeth kind of thing. I want to show a bit more, and I feel like I know I say every fight, but I do believe it. I do believe that I'm gonna show a different side to me again for this fight. So I'm excited to do that and show that. But it's one of those things. I know I say that every time, but I do feel like with my age, every time I'm growing and getting better and learning new things and doing new things. But I feel just great mentally, physically, and I'm prepared for anything that this girl brings. That's how I feel. Anything she brings, I feel like I'm prepared for any of it.
And that's really the right attitude to have, isn't it? Which is quite a mature attitude for such a young fighter, young in age, young in experience. So that's kind of refreshing to hear. Fran,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you your opinion on the Wardley Dubois fight, and obviously, I just want to know what you thought about. Did you watch it, etc., etc., and what you thought about the fight, and if that was your corner, how would have things gone? And there was so many things going on in that fight between Daniel Dubois getting slapped in the face, which I thought was epic because it woke him up,
Yeah,
to like Fabio Wardley looking that maybe he could have been stopped a few rounds earlier because he couldn't walk straight. And but your word, what did you see? What did you like about the fight?
do you know what? So, like, first of all, hats off to both of them. Incredible fight. I was just on the edge of my seat for the whole of it, and it was a great fight. It definitely lived up to expectations. I'll be honest, I didn't think it was going to go past six either way. I thought someone was going to get knocked out. Um, it was hard to see Fabio in the last, I'd say last three rounds. I'd say I feel like he's such a tough man, an absolute warrior, but it was hard to see. I felt like his legs were a bit unsteady. And I think sometimes, it's actually worse when a fighter's not getting knocked out and they're taking, unnecessary punishment. But, he'll know himself. He's a warrior. As us fighters, we would never back down like this. Especially, especially Fabio. He's like an absolute warrior for what he was taking and giving back at the same time. But I just felt like there was a bit of unnecessary punishment towards the end when I saw his legs a little bit unstable. I think at that weight, it's just probably best to, save the fighter from themselves because Fabio would never have backed down. Absolute warrior, but yeah, I'm not in their corner, so I don't know. I'm not in their position, but just from my side, I don't like seeing that unnecessary punishment kind of thing.
What's the kind of pep talk that you would have with like your corner if you get into like a really, tough a proper war,
Yeah.
and it's like do or die? What are you saying to your corner, or are you just literally just putting everything into them to say, look, whatever happens, I'm not going to want to, like you said, you're not going to want to like leave the ring.
Yeah.
You want to go out on your shield. But what's the kind of conversations that you've had with your team?
Yeah, like this is the hard thing about it because when I'm watching as a spectator, I'm saying this and I'm saying like you don't want to, but obviously as a fighter, from a fighter's point of view, you want to like go out on your shield. You don't want to be pulled. You don't want to be stopped. You don't want that, So I'd be the same as Fabio, probably just saying like don't like, it's a really really hard one because obviously I'm not in their position and I'm just speaking from a spectator's point of view. But I do think, especially at that weight, the like, Daniel Dubois is a vicious puncher. So is Fabio as well. Like we saw that in the first when he knocked down Dubois twice, didn't he? Before. Um. So it's like, yeah, it's one of those things as a spectator. We're not in that. I'm not in that position. And if it was the other way around and it was me, I wouldn't. I'm a fighter. I wouldn't want it to be pulled. So it's like it's one of those things. But respect to both of them because what an incredible fight, just back and forth, and gave us viewers definitely a great fight.
Definitely. So I'm going to ask you then before we go, just give me like 3 words that you'll use to describe yourself as a fighter, and then 3 words that you can use to describe the results that we should expect from you when it's your fight night.
So 3 words as a fighter, and then 3 words from results on fight night.
Yeah.
So as a fighter, I would say flair. I would say flair. I would say skillful, and I would say vicious. Then on fight night, I would say clinical. I would say explosive, and I would say swagger.
We like it. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure, as always, speaking to you, Fran. Don't let this last this long. I'll catch up with you after the fight. We'll speak
Definitely,
post fight, so we'll definitely keep in touch.
100.
Tickets, and then how do tickets, etc. People contacting you, contacting Hennessy. How do we do that to support your fight?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, just I've got a link in my bio, and the code is Fran, all capitals. So just if you put that code in, then you'll be able to access the ticket. So thank you. I appreciate everyone's support. Honestly, wouldn't be able to do it without you also.
See, look at that lovely personality. It's hard. Honestly, I'd find if I was to meet anybody and they said, "Oh, I don't like that Fran Hennessy," I'd actually think there was something wrong with them because
Thank you.
you
I
are
really
a really likable person and a good fighter. That's improving through all of your fights. Listen, Fran, I'm
thank
going to
you.
leave you to it. I know that you've had your training session today, so it's grub time, and we'll catch up definitely after the fight. But ladies and gentlemen, Fran Hennessy.